Jaguar Nation, welcome to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums, where we bring you all the exciting action of the Southern University football program. It's brought to you by Louisiana Lottery and Jerry Lane Chevrolet. Hello and welcome to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums. Of course, we come to you each week and bring you all the exciting action of the Southern University football program. Coach O, another open week on the Bluff in the spring of 2021. I'm sure your guys are tired of looking at each other and ready to hit somebody else.
Well, it seems like we play, have a bye, play, have a bye, play, have a bye. So that's been the theme of the season. But you're right. I think this last bye is tiring. I think we did a good job of managing our guys, giving them the necessary rest, and we're looking forward to playing in this Bayou Classic.
Big week ahead as we play the Grambling State Tigers in the 47th annual Bayou Classic, except this weekend it's not in our normal, usual place, the New Orleans Superdome. It'll be at the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana. So, Coach, got to ask you, playing in Shreveport, different vibe all the way around regarding the Bayou Classic, or is it the same thing, same prep? You don't care where it is?
Well, it does matter. I think our home for the Bayou Classic is the city of New Orleans, and I know both fan bases enjoy going to New Orleans. I know both teams enjoy the opportunity of playing in the Superdome. But this is something that hasn't been the same. This pandemic has dealt the uncertainty of things, and this is another one, playing in the Independence Bowl here in Shreveport. I think it's still going to be a great atmosphere. It's a nice stadium. It gives both teams an opportunity, a chance to play, and whatever fans come out, I think they're going to see an exciting football game.
All right, I hear they're letting about 25,000 in Independence Bowl. Is that the number you're hearing?
Well, I think 50% was the number, and I don't know if we increased it, but I'm willing to see that. I think we can get to 30. I think it seats about 60 plus.
Okay.
So 30,000 would be a nice crowd on a Saturday afternoon, and I think it'd be an electric atmosphere if we could get to 30,000.
I just hope for some good weather. Coach O, we're going to talk about Grambling in our last segment like we normally do when we look at our next game. But let's look at some of the team stats and talk about who we've got ready to go on offense, defense, and special teams against the Tigers for the Bayou Classic. So if we can pull up the graphics, Coach, on our rushing team leaders, of course, you got Ladarius Skelton, Gerard Sims, Devon Ben, and is it Rashad Muhammad?
Yes.
So, interesting. The rushing leaders are led by a quarterback. Yeah. That's how good he is at running the ball. So, and you got a couple of other ones that are not even on this list, like Nelson Craig is a really good running back, yeah. And what's his name? Benjamin.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're really deep at running back. Had a really interesting year. I was surprised that there was only Skelton's got 294, Sims has got 185, Ben's got 175. It's amazing over 4 games. That's all the yards they've gotten because they seem to have been running real well all season.
Well, it's still a lot of yards over 4 games, and I think when you got a good offensive line, you can run the ball. We talked about it as a staff earlier today, is that it gives you a good recipe for playing good defense and complementing each other. And we missed some passes. We've had some opportunities in the passing game, but these guys are very good, and our offensive line is very good, and we just lean on them. And I think we got a good backfield, so if you add Ladarius Skelton to the mix, we can run the ball with anybody in the country.
On the receiving side of the ball, Coach, I've been really impressed with your tight ends this year. And sure enough, when we looked at the stats, Ethan Howard's name is up there at the top with 160 yards. He's had a good year. But so has Brandon Hinton, Gerard Sims out of the backfield, and Marquise McLean. Good year for the wide receivers, and a lot of good experience. They should just get better, huh?
Love to see them really have a breakout game. I think opportunities have been there. We missed some connections, but good receiving core that's really getting better. And I think that's the whole key to our football team, is that each and every day we get better. And I think the best look of that is at our wide receiver position. I think Coach Marshall's done a great job of coaching those guys up and getting them up to speed, and just continue to see them develop as we go down the stretch. I think it's going to be something that we're going to need, and there's going to be some opportunities, and hopefully they be ready for them.
On the defensive side of the ball, Coach, you had some really, really good games from Jalen Ivey and Chase Foster, Caleb Carter, Jordan Lewis. Really, really good showing. And sure enough, I was just calling out names off the top of my head, and there those guys are that I called. They have been the team leaders on defense. You got to be pleased with their effort for most of the year.
Well, they're all upperclassmen. They've been in the program. They have a good understanding of what our program is about, what the process is about, and just to see them having that kind of success. And you have to look at it and say, well, if those guys are playing well, we got to be playing pretty good defense. And we have this spring. We played pretty good every ball game and give ourselves a chance to win. And at the end of the day, that's the only stat that matters, is getting us an opportunity to win, and those guys are the reason why.
Coach, when we talk about football games and winning football games, you always talk about special teams. And we've had a pretty good year from our special teams. Each week we've talked about the contributions that the special teamers have made. On the kicking side of the ball, Cesar Barajas has done a good job in punting as well as field goals. And on the return game, there you see Sky Key, Thomas and Mekhi Hammond. Both have had a good year returning the ball on kicks. So you got to be pleased with the growth of your special teamers.
Well, we started out a little shaky, but I think we got them into form. Coach Rollins does an outstanding job of making sure that we have the right guys in the right place. And we spent a lot of time on it. I was telling them today on SWAT Media Call that we try to spend as much time on special teams as we do offense and defense, and it shows. I think our guys get better. We're always working technique and fundamentals, and if we can do that, we think we can steal ball games by just being really good on special teams.
We're glad we were able to give the players a little FaceTime. They've usually got those helmets on. You got a chance to see what the young men look like. When we come back, we're going to look at our traditional open week highlight reel and talk some more Southern University football on the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums.
A family-run dealership for over 30 years.
A philosophy, but a customer comes first.
Giving back to the community in times of need.
That's why I love working at Jerry Lane Chevrolet.
With total transparency, we're here to earn your business.
We only make decisions on what's best for you.
We are family, we are tradition, we are Baton Rouge. You can count on Jerry Lane.
Add some oomph to your next boil. Pick up crawfish from the lottery. Win up to $3,000. Make it rain. Cash. Grab your big money ticket from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Get yours today.
Back to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums. Coach, as we got out of that segment because of time constraints, we forgot to talk about our quarterbacks. Let's talk about our quarterbacks. Both Ladarius Skelton and John Lampley have had a pretty good year. Both of them doing what they're supposed to do when they're in the game. And, Coach, it's really been surprising how productive it's been playing two quarterbacks.
Well, I think their skill set give us an added advantage. I think those guys have a great understanding of our offense. Ladarius does it mostly with his feet, and we're constantly working on him to improve in the passing game. We know he can do it, and as he gets better at that, our offense is going to continue to improve. John Lampley is like Cool Hand Luke. He comes in. Sometimes he comes in at really bad predicaments in the football game, but it doesn't bother him. We know he can make throws. We know he's mentally locked in. And both guys know they're probably going to have a chance to play, so you got to stay ready. And I think it's an advantage for us that the coordinators got to prepare for both. And there's two different game plans, but we're excited about where we are and the continuing development of our quarterback position.
Well, Coach, let's go on and jump into our traditional open week highlight reel, show some folks some football, even though we didn't have a game. Of course, you see a great hit right there in the UAPB game. That's actually Alabama State Hornets.
Yep. Great hit by Jordan Lewis. Defense came to play this game. Got us started right off the bat. Right there's a pick six by Chase Foster.
Ladarius setting up. Is that Hinton that he hit, Coach?
That's B. Hinton. And you can see a nice delivery of the football. When he set his feet, he can really deliver a nice football.
And that's what he's known for right there, using his feet to get into the end zone.
Just
great open play. Yeah.
It's good play right here. Execution by the offense, hitting tight end Perkins for a touchdown. This UAPB looked like Jared Sims taking one in. Good throw by Lampley.
Great pass.
He hits McClain for a touchdown. Like defense getting in on the action. What
big hit right there.
That's Caleb Carter.
Yeah.
We talked about special teams earlier. A big play in the game. Got us back in it. Momentum with the Jags. Scoop and score by Jamil Byrd. Another fantastic setting of the feet by John Lampley. He is Gerard Sims. Move on to Texas Southern.
Great motor right there. Sack. Was that Jalen Ivey?
That was Tyron Nash on that sack.
That was a great run after catch right there. That yak.
That's it.
Yards after catch.
Tight end played a big part in this game. Ethan Howard had a really big game.
Mm-hmm. Another great pass right there. Sky Key doing his thing. Shades of Willie Quinn.
That's big because they just had scored.
You got to love that speed, Coach.
Tell you, we just got to get better at our execution on our block, and we think it's going to be some opportunities for some more touchdowns from the return game.
This was a great run. You got to appreciate the shiftiness and the quickness to cut back from the running back.
There's Ethan Howard going in for another touchdown. True freshman's played really well. Interception by Jacoby Jones and a nice return to set the offense up in good field position.
This was one of our more complete games, Texas Southern. We just kept bringing it to them.
Start to finish, I thought special teams, offense, and defense really played well.
This is us in Jackson.
And you can see the momentum coming from each week. The team has gotten better. Guys are playing better. I thought this was a complete game, and really not the stats, but just from start to finish. Jordan Lewis with a big hit right there. Ethan Howard again, the true freshman, gonna be special at the tight end position.
Called his name a lot this year.
That's Corey Williams getting in on the action. Nice touchdown right before the half.
Mm-hmm.
Another good play by Corey Williams. Good touch pass from John Lampley. Cesar comes on with a career long of 49 yards. I really thought that we played really well, and gave ourselves a chance to really be dominant in this football game against Jackson State. That's Ladarius Skelton. Ben takes it in. Just keep playing, and I thought they kept doing that. Another special team play. Should have been another touchdown by special teams. We wasn't able to scoop and score. T. Smith.
T. Morris Smith.
Yes, sir. He come up
got
big.
him an INT.
Glad to see him. He hadn't had one this year, and he's one of our better corners, and those guys played really well.
Well, there you have it. Some highlights from some of our previous games. When we come back, we're going to look at our Alpha Media Players of the Week, and then we'll also look at the SWAC action from this past weekend on the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums. Welcome back to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums. Coach, of course, every week in this segment, we recognize the alpha media players of the week, and even when there's not a game, there's an expectation of a Southern University Jaguar football player to always be a leader. And so who are those players on offense, defense, and special teams, Coach?
Well, we got a little different shakeup this week with the players of the week. Three guys that I think are tremendous to our program and to the success. Offensively, Blake Urloff, a guy that does so much for us. Defensively, Blake Urloff does so much for us in the scenes. You don't really get a chance to see how hard he works and the dedication he puts in, getting our computer ready, the analysis, the data that we use. He's our defensive player of the week. Offensively, Connor Loper, another guy that's behind the scenes. People may not know him. These are graduate assistants, and these guys work hours trying to make sure that we have everything we need as a staff. And I just wanted to make sure that these guys get appreciated, and they do an outstanding job. Also, special teams, a guy that really works with our offense. Trey Sanders, another guy that does an outstanding job. They really come to work. They put time in. They spot balls at practice. They do those little things that a lot of people may not know that help us be effective as a football team. And those are our alpha media players of the week.
There you go. Thank you, Coach, and thanks for recognizing those young men who do a big part for the program that people really, really don't know. So good stuff. Coach, a couple of games in the SWAC this past weekend. Alabama A&M got the best of J-State in a pretty good game, 52-43.
A lot of points. You know, I think you can be happy for the winner. The loser's still trying to figure it out. But that's a lot of points scored, and I think both teams are going to try to go back and look at it and see how they can continue to get better as a team. But it sets up for the next week, and I think the next week opponents are going to be a little bit more challenging for especially Alabama A&M as they get ready to go take on Alabama State, and that'll be a good football game. Yeah,
A&M looked pretty good to me, and we know what Alabama State can do. Alabama State Hornets stung the Mississippi Valley Delta Devils 42-17. Not a surprise there, Coach.
I tell you, Mississippi Valley, Coach Dancy's doing a good job with the program. They were right there, I think, really until the fourth quarter is where the game began to separate.
Okay.
Sound like a couple of calls. If they would have went the other way, Mississippi Valley probably would have been in a better position, and I really thought it was a competitive football game. But both of those football teams are good, and you could see that from the outcome of that football game. Alabama State went down, made some plays late in the fourth quarter to create the separation, but sound like a good football game.
Coach, we are 7-8 weeks into the season of this historic spring 2021 football season. Let's take a look around the SWAC to see exactly what's happening in the standings as things are trying to get settled on the East. Pretty much the West is settled, Coach. UAPB is going to represent the West in the SWAC championship game. But in the East, I think it comes down to this weekend, doesn't it?
Well, I think both sides are still open.
Oh, really?
Yeah, both sides are still open because of missed games, opportunities. Some games are going to be made up and got to be played. And I don't think we're going to know much until after this week. But a lot of football left to be played. I know on the West, PV and UAPB are playing this weekend. We're playing Grambling. And I think Texas Southern has Mississippi Valley. And then on the other side is you got two teams. Alabama State win. I think they go into the driver's seat. And then you got to look at makeup games, where we are on the schedule, who got to play who. And I really think if you're in contention, the schedule may get changed a little bit going down the stretch to just try to figure out who is the better teams.
So next weekend, the 24th, not this weekend, but the following weekend, there are makeup games due to COVID protocol, postponement, and all of that. And so really it won't be settled until then?
It could be, depending on how they shake out this week.
Okay.
And if things go according, then you could have some games added on the 24th against opponents that could be makeup games. So the conference got a lot to look at, and I think after this week they'll be able to do more from an evaluation standpoint.
Is there an opportunity for us to get to the SWAC championship?
Door's still open.
Wow.
The door's still open.
Okay. That's good. That's news to me. I thought that UAPB had that already shut.
No, they still have really 3 games that they haven't played. So, and the conference is going to look at it and evaluate it. We're pretty much done with our schedule. We still have one game that was canceled that hasn't been played. PV win, they're in the driver's seat with an opportunity to win the West.
Is that right?
So they would just have to win out. So I know, of course, they missed some games, but some of those games are not going to be able to be made up. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I think the conference is going to have to decide based on where we are going into that April 24th weekend.
So, but it is only April 24th is the last weekend of regular season games.
That I cannot confirm.
Okay.
I really believe that it's still some football games got to be played.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to look at it, and I could really see that the championship game maybe being pushed back to try to see if you can get a true champion. And I know they don't really want to do that. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, things play itself out.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you have it from the coach on what's happening in the SWAC. So when we come back, we're going to look ahead to the Bayou Classic and the Grambling State Tigers on the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums.
Add some oomph to your next boil. Pick up crawfish from the lottery. Win up to $3,000. Make it rain. Cash. Grab your big money ticket from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Get yours today.
We have very special employees here, people that have been here for forever. Just have really good hearts and love to serve those around them.
We all are family here. The customer should feel very comfortable. We try to make it as easy as possible.
We have customers come in really, really happy and satisfied with the service that we provide for them. That is one of Mr. Lane's biggest deals, is that we are treating customers the right way.
Welcome back to the Jaguar Football Show with Coach Dawson Odums. Coach, we now turn our attention to the GSU Tigers as we travel to Shreveport to play them in the Bayou Classic. Hard to believe, Coach, but they are 0-3 on the season, and having come off of the last 2 or 3 weeks in COVID protocol, I don't know that they've played a game in 4 or 5 weeks.
Well, I think they said today 21 days, so it's been about 3 weeks since they played. The biggest thing is that not knowing who's going to be out there, not having film for 3 weeks, some changes on the offensive side of the ball. But like I tell our staff and our players, it's about us making sure that we're ready to play, and we got to come out and execute at a high level, and we got to be ready to make some adjustments. They probably have a new play call on offense, and hopefully we're going to be ready to go and make whatever adjustments needed in order to win a football game.
Well, that is one of the things that we want to talk about. Basically, they are coming off of a long layoff. So Coach said 21 days, but then you add this week to it, it's really 4 weeks.
Correct.
So it is about a month since they played football up there. Tough season for Coach Fobbs. Lost a couple of coaches, players transferring. What's happening at Graham, Coach?
I have no idea, but I know that Coach Fobbs is an outstanding coach. He does an outstanding job with the program. We all go through some adversity as coaching, and it's all about how you respond, and they're trying to make sure that they get their ship going in the right direction. But when you look at their football team, they've been in ball games. They lost at the end to Jackson. They lost a really close battle to PV. They have players. The only lopsided game they played really caused of turnovers was the UAPB game. But they have players. They made some plays. They've been in ball games. And they're a good football team. You can throw records out the window when you talk about this rivalry.
Well, Coach, one of the things that we just talked about was the fact that it's probably been 4 weeks since they played football, but it's also 4 weeks to get ready for us.
Well, that's a lot of time. It's like your first football game of the season. And I think the biggest deal is that, though, during those 4 weeks, a couple of those weeks they may not have been able to do anything because of COVID protocol, and that's when it's tough. And then you get your team back, not knowing what guys you have back, and just trying to prepare and get your best foot going forward. And It's tough, and I take my hat off to Coach Fobbs for trying to keep his troops motivated and ready to go during this tough and difficult season. We're all having difficulties and struggles, and I take my hat off to him. I think he's doing a fantastic job in just handling all the adversity that they're having to go through.
Coach, on the offensive side of the ball, their quarterback entered the transfer protocol. Do we know who their new quarterback is as we get ready for this game?
Elijah Walker's been playing. He played in every game. He's been splitting time. So I look at him being the signal caller, young man from A-Meet. We actually recruited him. Good football player, dual threat quarterback, has the ability to run and throw. Know he'll be excited. It's close to home for him, playing against Southern, and it's the Bayou Classic. Everybody wants to play well. Short drive for them. So it ought to be an exciting football game, but I really think they're a really good football team.
What do they like to do on offense, Coach?
But between the other two coordinators, it's two different game plans. They spread you out in one. They run the ball in the other, short passing game in one, deep throwing, intermediate passing game in the other. They have some talent. I think their talent is at receiver. They have a good receiving core and a good quarterback, and they got a running back that's coming on. So they like to spread you out sideline to sideline and get the football down the field.
On the defensive side of the ball, Coach, what do the Tigers like to do?
Well, they've been pretty much the same. They're gonna bring it. They usually come at you out of that 3-3 stack, 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers. Really good against the run, and Coach usually bring it. So it ought to be interesting if they go play us man or zone. We won't know until we get to the game, but for the most part, they're an aggressive style defense.
Coach, there's usually a festive atmosphere around the lead up to the preparation for the Bayou Classic, and I'm not feeling it this year due to Gramblin's record, the drama up there, the COVID protocol stuff, also the fact that the game is being played in Shreveport. Has any of that affected your preparation for the game?
Nah, we're right on cue. I just think the focus is on winning, and the distractions are limited. We don't really worry about it. We don't worry about stats. We don't worry about distractions. Our biggest thing is mindset and just having the right mindset to win football games.
Well, Coach, as the axiom goes, always be wary of a wounded tiger. Yeah. And, of course, that is ever present right here because we're playing our upstate neighbors, the Grambling State Tigers. But good luck to you, Coach, and go Jags!